get more science. We going into the Circle 7 Quran. It's about that time. Now, you say, oh, you represent, yeah, I represent from the Hebrew Israelite standpoint. You know what I'm saying? The brothers have made a clown out of us, though, man. But this is the ghost, though. A little different. Now, let's see in the circle. I'm going to Circle 7 Quran. I think 2 and 9. And it says, read this through our lead book. Elihu and Salome took Mary and Elizabeth out to the sacred grove nearby where they want to teach. So right here is a grove, and then we know the laws against groves. If you don't know, look it up. Right here it said, who are ordained to lay a solid rock, a sure foundation stone on which the temple of the perfect man shall rest, a temple that shall never be destroyed. So this is definitely not talking about Yahweh's temple. But we see here that Christ is talking about the temple of a perfect man. He must be talking about himself. How arrogant of you, Christ of the Circle 7 Quran. Let's keep reading though. Verse 13, an age has passed, the gate into another age flies open at the age touch of time. This is the preparation age of soul, the kingdom of Emmanuel, of deity in man. Now, when I say deity, that's A-L-L-A-H, the Muslim God that everybody, I'm not going to say that name. You guys know why. But Christ is saying this is the kingdom of Emmanuel. So he's saying he's Emmanuel. We got that lie. But we also see him that he's using the Muslim God's name here by saying A-L-L-A-H in man. I'm going to call him Dala, like American Dala. But I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to say Dala. Emmanuel of Dala in man. I go to verse 20 of the same chapter, and it says, that naught can make them one but love. That Dala so loved the world that he had clothed his son in flesh that man can comprehend. So we see right here that this circle 7 is basically quoting the New Testament. So loved the world. Dala, I'm not going to say the name, so loved the world that he clothed his son in flesh right here. Verse 21 says, the only Savior of the world is love. And J, son of Mary, comes to manifest that love to men. Of course, I'm not going to say J either, because that's a false god's name now. They made him a false god. They got people worshiping him. But right here, this guy, this JC is a little different. Let me see. Let me keep going. Again, Elihu met his pupils in the sacred grove. So they go in the groves, not going to the Almighty's temple, the Solomon, Jerusalem. They go into these groves, which is just straight wickedness. I mean, that should be obvious. But and there are two cells. Verse 5 of chapter 3, there are two cells, higher and lower self. So now we learn about this. I mean, I don't see this in the Torah, but I guess somebody say, well, this actually means higher self, and this means low. I mean, but I'm gonna keep moving. Don't spend no time on that. We go to 3 and 1, higher, lower self. Chapter 5, verse 8, where it says, Mary said, why, Jay? Why do you treat your parents thus? Lo, we have sought 2 days for you. We feared that some great harm had overtaken you. Now, if you read the story, he was gone for 3 days, not 2 days. But of course, it's always going to be inconsistencies when it comes to lies. I mean, the New Testament is lies. But then these lies that try to steal from the New Testament change the story up. It's a shame. Now, we go to verse 21 of this same chapter 5, and we see, on the 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of the perfect man. So right here, Christ is bent on telling you about a temple of the perfect man because he wants you to build a temple to him. This Koran deity wants you to build a temple to him. I mean, JC, right here is talking about a temple. Not talking about the temple of Yahweh, because Yahweh is not a man. He talking about the. Oh, but let me keep it moving though. Of course, in the 6th chapter, it's going to call Christ a son of Dala, or you know what I mean, Allah. But that's in chapter 6, verse 8, where it calls him the son of Dala. So what? But this right here is blasphemy. Like I said, it's a lot. I got a lot more stuff. I mean, just reading the Circle 7, you're going to see all types of wickedness, and it's going to be all against the Almighty's commandments. But check this out. Verse 18 says, the Brahmic priests was glad to welcome home the prince with favor. They received the Jewish boy. So they received this Jewish boy. They're not of the house of Israel. They received him. And Jay was accepted as a pupil in the temple of Jagannatha. And here he learned the Vedas and the Manic law. So right here, Christ is doing idol worship in a different temple than the Almighty's temple. They're not doing the Torah. They're not doing the laws. They're doing another type of law, a manic law. I mean, read it and weep. This is what Christ is doing. That's what Christ is doing. So, with the Christ of the Circle 7, I would say, of the more science of this Christ. But let me continue, though. It talks about ethers in here. Force is the will of the deity. Oh, let me read this. This is some crazy stuff. Jay said, it is manifest of the result of force. It is but not. It is illusion, nothing more. Force changes not, but power changes as the ethers change. So then now Christ talking about some ethers and stuff. Force is the will of the deity, and it's omnipotent. Power is that which manifests direct by the breath. Now, this is talking about ethers and all types of crazy stuff. Let me go down, man. It's basically saying that understanding is the lower self. Right here, this is saying understanding is the lower. I can read the whole thing. Again, Lamas asks, of understanding, what have you say? And Christ said, it is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the gnosis of the art and of the naught, of falsehood and of truth. It is the knowledge of the lower self, the sensing of the powers of man himself. So he said understanding is knowledge of the lower self. No, understanding is to avoid evil, as the scriptures say. But according to this, I'm going to keep it going. And it says in chapter 7, verse 26, and it's all in Roman numerals. Why does it got to be Roman? This book right here is all in Roman numerals, who's the enemy. And Jay said, faith is the surety of the omnipotence of Dala and man, the certainty that man will reach deficit life. So right here, this is saying faith is something else. Like, you know what Christians say faith is. Something to believe and hope for and all that garbage. I forgot, what was that? I know it's in the New Testament. In the Hebrews 7 or something like that. I don't know. But I'm going to find it, and I'm going to put it next side by side. Of course, this even contradicts their New Testament. They're trying to be the same, but I mean, I know Christians, whatever. Keep it moving. It says in verse 13 of the 8th chapter, if you will serve Dala, who speaks within the heart. So that's what he is. He's in the heart. Dala is in the heart. Now, we know what the scriptures say about the heart. It's desperately wicked. And that's what Dala is. And I agree with that. I kind of agree with it a little bit. But let me get up. Right here, it's basically telling you, because Christ died, whatever. Let me read this. And Jay said, our father, Dala, acts not for needless waste of plant, of grain, of dove, of lamb. That which you burn on a shrine, you throw away. No blessing can attend to one who takes the food from hungry mouths to be destroyed by fire. Then you would offer sacrifice to Dala, just like your gifts of grain or meat, and lay it on the table of the poor. So it said, don't give your sacrifices to the Almighty anymore. Just give it to the poor, because you don't need to do that. But I like this one though right here. It says, and all the people. This is chapter 8, verse 23. All the people were entrants and would have Jay as a god. But Jay said, I am your brother man. Just come to show the way to Dala. You shall worship man. Praise Dala, the Holy One. You shall not worship man. Praise Dala, the Holy One. So he said that you shouldn't worship me. He's not the God. Christ is letting you know he's not God right here in the circle 7. So, that's a good thing. It actually said in here, one thing, kind of good that Christ is nobody. I mean, he's really not even real. So that's. But let me keep it. It's already 11 minutes. Let me leave this one alone.